Governor Greg Abbott has been one of the president's loudest critics on immigration. As you saw, Abbott was in El Paso today and met with President Biden at the airport. They shook hands, but then the governor gave the president a letter outlining ways Republicans believe the administration's border policies have failed. Afterwards, Abbott shared his criticism of the president with reporters.
The president, who caused the chaos of the border, needed to be here. It just so happens he's 2 years and about $20 billion too late. He needs to step up and take swift action, including reimbursing the state of Texas for the money that we spent, but providing more resources for the federal government to do its job.
Abbott said he also urged the president to push Mexican leaders to do more to stop migrants before they reach the Texas border. Beyond the politics, there are so many people whose lives are directly affected by the policies and the action along the border. Our Monica Madden is in El Paso looking closer at what people there hope the president takes away from his brief trip to the city.
Here at Sacred Heart downtown, there are hundreds of migrants who've been camping outside, and it's a scene that has really cooled down since December when we saw that surge of migrants crossing the border. But still, both locals and migrants here say they want the president to see what's going on the ground.
Touching down in El Paso, President Joe Biden greeted by local officials before touring a migrant processing center and the wall in his first trip to the border as president.
Very well overdue.
Some locals hesitantly welcoming the commander-in-chief.
I hope he sees the issues we're having here in the border.
Let him meet the people that are here. Let him hear their stories.
Not on the president's agenda, touring migrant camps. It's where we find Venezuelan migrants like John.
We just need help.
He admits he crossed illegally, but says his family would not survive if he stayed, and he wants to stay here the legal way.
We just need an opportunity.
His story paralleled by so many others, like Maria, who says it was a months-long, dangerous journey. Amid the crowd of migrants, a symbol of hope and freedom, although their journey is far from over.
Even though the president is not coming here as part of his stop, we've heard some debate on whether or not the city has been cleaning this up for him to come here. Now, local police I talked to said that they try to do that routinely. You can see a lot of these personal items still here, but then others I talked to said they definitely noticed an increase in the cleaning up efforts since the president arrived in El Paso. Monica Madden, back to you.
Now, El Paso is still under a state of emergency after the number of migrants crossing spiked in mid-December, but the numbers have dropped significantly in the past few weeks. In the week of December the 11th, Border Patrol agents apprehended an average of more than 2,200 migrants each day. At the end of that week, the mayor declared a state of emergency. The next week saw National Guard troops close off a popular illegal crossing. The number of apprehensions dropped to around 1,500 per day. The week after Christmas saw another decline, with just over 1,100 migrants apprehended each day. Also, the Supreme Court issued a ruling keeping Title 42 restrictions in place at the border. The average dropped even more after the new year began to around 850 per day through the first 5 days of this week.